Hey everybody, this is Mike Hamrick over at Wilwood Disc Brakes. We're here at SEMA 2019, and we love walking the show and finding the diversity of different cars that are Wilwood equipped. We came across the Celica, and I want to introduce you to
Jordan Henke from JH Restoration.
And Kevin Huth.
This car is over the top, and it's something that our staff worked together with them to make sure that everything was going to work properly, and you guys knocked it out of the park. So I wanted to go ahead and walk around the car with you today. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure.
I think it's awesome.
So we started out actually with this plan last year. It's kind of been like a thought in my mind. I'm a classic old Toyota guy, so it really came down to looking for something more unique, kind of get away from some of the stuff you see a lot. So we hatched this plan, tried to look for this old 73 Celica. Found something on, actually it was in Craigslist in Tacoma, Washington. Sat on there for a while. It was an automatic car, you know, it was yellow. So we kind of grabbed that car and shipped it back to Detroit and then brought it over to us in Windsor.
Oh, wow.
So we kind of started from there.
So something you were telling me about is the original yellow paint is the original patina.
For sure, yeah. The car came to us. It had some patina on it, and we wanted to keep that look and give it the old race car feel. So what we did is we actually flat cleared the car, and we added delivery to it after that, and did some other modifications. But
I think you did quite a few modifications.
a couple.
And the thing about this car in particular, and I am an import guy, where I look at it and I go, you guys stayed with the same theme throughout the whole car, but you've introduced so many things. There's not a lot of people that would put Edelbrock together with this type of a car, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's why it's been such a magnet for the last 4 days, everybody coming and checking it out. And the word of mouth has been, hey, did you see that Celica? So I want to start with you guys talking about all this.
That's sweet. So JH Restorations, we're a hot rod shop through and through. Generally, we do a lot of North American stuff. We talked with Kevin about doing this with Edelbrock, and we love the LS platform because it's just gobs of power at a reasonable price. So we went ahead and ran this by Kevin, and this is what we came up with. So
Yeah, we need a platform that I could just really beat on, because I do really want to get out there and do some time attacks and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I want to get on the track and also be able to drive it. So I do want to be a driver. So how else do you do that is with something proven. So
No, you're totally right. So I'm seeing all the custom made headers by
my buddy John Gleason.
Oh wow, very, very nice. The vibrant stuff on there. All of this shock tower work, what are you guys running underneath that?
So what we had to do to get this engine in the car is we actually 3D scanned the whole engine bay, and we had a 3D model of the LS3, and we put it in the model, and we found we had to move the firewall back 2.5 inches. So in doing all that, and in order to get any kind of suspension into the car, we had to move the shock towers in and redesign everything. So we've got a custom design front suspension, and it's riding on QA1 coilovers.
Okay, so you guys are working with them. They're up kind of in your neck of the woods, right?
Well, not really. I mean, they're still a ways away, but they're up north there. So
Yeah, and I mean that's another company that everybody associates with like American muscle cars. So some of that influence inside of it too. That's what stands out to me is a lot of this sport is turning into using a lot of different fusions of everybody's parts, and again, awesome. I think it's awesome. The thing that also stands out to me is the interior. So tell us about what your concept was, and why you went with that plaid.
So actually, when we were designing the car, it's supposed to look as 70s as possible. It's supposed to be like a 70s retro throwback car. So when we were kind of trying to figure out the interior, Jordan actually found that Relicate makes this beautiful plaid interior that really keeps it with that theme. So it's actually the Relicate leather and plaid interior, and you know it matches pretty good. You know, everyone seems to really dig that. And
oh yeah.
Yep, and our buddy up a couple hours north of us, he stitched up the interior. Nessic Design, Nessic Interiors did it for us. So he knocked that out of the park. Kept it pretty simple, and I think kept true to the original designs of the car.
It's awesome. So it was originally a automatic car. Was the stick location, is that where the automatic shifter was?
No, actually, this to get the has a 370Z transmission in it.
Oh, okay.
So it's a LS to an adapter plate, and then to a 370Z transmission. And to get that under the stock tunnel just wasn't happening. So that's actually an all brand new tunnel.
Wow.
And then it pushed the shifter too far back. So that was really uncomfortable for me, especially for driving position, if you want to get out and beat on it. So Jordan actually came up with this idea of kind of doing a little linkage setup. So.
Oh no, the relocation makes perfect sense, and it adds to the rest of the car with the trickness and the techie aspect of it. And as we go around the car, you know, what I'm noticing, and something that you keep talking about, is function.
Right.
You know, you built a car that just doesn't look dope, but it functions really well. And ergonomics is a big thing with especially what we do, which is the brake stuff.
Yeah.
So let's move around to the back. Like, what are you running for a differential in it?
It's a Ford 8.8 with a 373 gear set.
Okay, so did this car come with a solid rear axle?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a really originally solid axle car, and then we just kind of narrowed a 8.8 and put it was a big bore kit.
It's got a Ford big bearing kit on it, and then what we did is we designed the 4-link kit. It was an offset 4-link, offset parallel, but in order to get some room under the car, we made it an inline parallel 4-link, and the only point that's original in the car is the front lower pivot point. So everything else is redesigned around that.
Wow.
Panhard bar, all brand new.
And you know, that's stuff that people don't typically get to see.
Right.
But even you're introducing more parts into the car, and I think the 8.8 in this thing with the 9-inch flanges is the right deal. Lightweight. It probably looks like it was supposed to be in there.
Yeah, for sure it does.
So, I mean, all of those things really are what stand out to especially myself. I like it a lot. And I like the Huskies on the back. I'm not going to lie about that.
That was a sticker that came on the car when we found it there, and just to keep with it, yeah, we kept it.
Oh, man.
It just goes along with the barn find field. I mean, there's rust bubbles in the trunk. The Huskies on there, we didn't even get the glass clean enough to get all the water spots off of it. So I think people thought we were a little bit nuts. You're taking that to SEMA, and I think it's had a huge response because it is that much different. It's not the shiny car that everyone sees.
You're totally right, you know. So let's get into more of setup. So you say you want to go and do like time attack. You mean track days?
Yeah, some track days. We're going to try and get out some good guys events and do the autocross there.
Okay.
And you know, just play around as much as possible. See what's local, whatever we can do.
Awesome. Tire wise, you're running the
Toyota R888Rs.
All right, and then what's the wheel size on this? Because that's another thing that people are always asking us.
It's actually a 15x9 in the front and a 15x10 in the rear.
Holy cow!
So
yeah, a little bit of a point of contention. We wanted bigger. Kevin wanted to, but I think we need to turn it back and say Kevin did a bang up job picking everything out. Like we didn't even. He just guessed the wheel size. We knew what our track width was, and he knew where it needed to sit. He says, "Those are the offsets. That's what we ordered."
Yeah. So it was one of those, try to keep it, you know, I really wanted to keep it with the Japanese flair as much as possible. You can't put big wheels on it then. You got to keep them a little bit smaller. A 15 kind of works with that, and actually American Racing really stepped up, and we reached out to them, and they hit back with these the Silverstone wheels.
And so they actually worked with us really well, and they actually sent us 3D models of their barrels and everything to make sure the brakes were going to work. They checked it. We went over and double checked everything to make sure everything was going to be perfect. So between Wilwood and American Racing, we got everything to fit just right.
It's awesome. You know, when you go neck deep in a build like this, you guys took all the right steps to make sure that everything was going to work together properly, and that's something that we strive to help and educate everybody to do. You know. Something that I was taught a long time ago was you work off of a rendering. Well, I always thought, why, right? Well, I started building cars from the inside out, and what problems did I have? But if I work off a rendering and something that I know I want it to look like, then I can start working in and get everything to work right. So we're going to finish off with the brakes. Of course, that's why we're over here to see you guys. I was super stoked when I found out that you were working with our internal guy, Mike Scully, on it. I've already teched the car out and all the way down to the hard lines coming off of the remote master cylinder setup for the drift handle e-brake. You know, you guys have done everything properly. A lot of guys will just go ahead and run a steel braided line,
Right.
but that takes away from pedal feel or hand pedal feel.
Right.
And that makes a big difference in a build. So tell me a little bit why you guys chose us and how we came to this collaboration on it.
We chose Wilwood. I mean, we've worked with Wilwood quite a bit, and honestly, the ease of install for all this stuff is, honestly, I feel it's the easiest set of brakes to put together. We've used it enough that we were comfortable that we could custom build the rear suspension or rear brake kit to work the way that we wanted it to. I mean, the rear brake kit is actually 2 rear brake kits that we use backing plates and caliper brackets off to get the look. I mean, it just had to be that setup. So that's why we chose Wilwood.
All right. And then in the front, that's not a kit that we supply off the shelf.
Yeah.
So did you guys work with Mike and get the right components and build your own brackets, use the stock hub?
Actually, so in the front, it's actually, the whole front suspension is based off of ProSpindle. So we're using your ProSpindle.
Oh, wow.
So it's got the 2-inch drop ProSpindle in the steering arms. And after that, so your front kit is a front kit. We were actually trying to go to 4-lug. Kevin wanted the 4-lug.
But unfortunately.
But we couldn't work that into the deal. The rears we could have made work, but the fronts it just wasn't going to happen. So we went ahead. We went to the 5-lug, used the ProSpindle kit, and all that works together. So the front was easy. Front was pretty much a part number that you guys had in stock. It was just the custom color. But that's how that worked.
Oh man, everything again is on point with the car. The relocation, the pedal assembly, that's something that we talked about on Sunday when we were setting up.
Right.
And then again, the thing that I really liked that you said was making sure I had everything in the right location.
Right.
Ergonomics is so important, especially with a car that you're going to drive.
Right.
You have to have the pedals in the right spot. You have to have the shifter in the right spot, the hand lever. And then, again, I think you knocked it out. So, super cool.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations on all the accolades this week. And we look forward to working with you guys in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks,
Got
man.
it.
Appreciate it.